My name is CZ, and I will be your host this episode. I am joined this afternoon by the Fluff of Nightmares, Lady White Rabbit.
Hey guys, I know I've been absent a lot on my channel, but I promise the big video is coming in just a week and it'll be worth the wait, so just stay tuned.
We are also joined tonight by the third voice of death, Mortis Media.
Hey guys, my latest video may or may not be about bacon, so you should go to my channel to find out.
Ooh.
Vegans beware. And we have our first ever guest on the show, Amy from Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary.
Hi guys, I will be back on schedule within a week or two, hopefully.
You're listening to episode 4 of the Deadstream. So it's October. What are your guys' plans for Halloween? And what have you done so far?
My big video coming up will be the sequel of Baraska. It'll be out hopefully on Monday as I have scheduled. The audio is now done, so I'm just working on visuals and music, and then hopefully I'll be done within the next couple of days here. And
Oh, that's good to hear, because I remember last time you were saying that you hated your voice by the end of
I
recording
do.
audio.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it even more now, so I'm sick of hearing about Baraska, and I want it to stop, but it's gonna be great.
It's not just you.
Any plans for stuff that you're doing in October outside of the channel?
I will be moving next week, not very far away, but hopefully it will result in better internet connection. So if I start cutting out here, it's because my internet's terrible.
So this will be the last time we have to deal with it.
Yes, absolutely.
What about you, Mart?
Let's see. Anything channel-wise? Not really. Just trying to do longer videos for all you lovely followers who like those longer 40-ish minute videos. So, that. And to celebrate Halloween, I am going to Transylvania to see Count Dracula's castle, which should be very interesting.
No way.
So it's not on Halloween, it's too expensive. It's a little bit after, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be awesome.
That's really cool.
Sure.
So is there like a guided tour, or do you just go and explore the castle? How does that work?
I booked the flights, but I haven't booked the castle tour yet. I'm sure there'll be a guided tour. So, I might even do a special video just about that. Gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Nice.
And what about you, Blood?
What's going on with the channel will be discussed in a minute, but I am streaming tomorrow to benefit Scares That Care, which is a horror-based charity, so that's kind of my big Halloween celebration.
And I'll be stopping in for that.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Thank you. And Mortis and White Rabbit, if you'd like to join in, please feel free.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I believe the plan for Halloween is us and 2 other houses are going to do a joint decorating venture and pop out at children.
Nice. I've always wanted to do that, like set up an actual haunted house in my house. I couldn't do it right now because I live in an apartment, but I think that's such a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
There actually was a house in our neighborhood that used to do that, and they had a prize system. If you got to their door, you get like a fun sized. If you got all the way to the back, though, they'd give you a king sized.
That's brilliant.
Oh, nice.
You just had to get through a zombie and be chased by Leatherface.
Yeah. The usual.
Yeah. Are those the costumes that you're going to use this year as well?
I'm doing my Princess Leatherface thing again, and my husband, I have no idea.
Exciting stuff. As for me, I love going to haunted houses and walkthroughs like that. You guys might have seen the video I did of the Blumhouse Happy Death Day maze on my channel. So Halloween Horror Nights, a lot of fun for me. I'm going after this stream to Six Flags' Fright Fest. And
Ooh.
yeah, I've actually already been there once this year, but one of my YouTube friends, his channel's Omar Be Silly. He has like a pass to get me in for free.
Oh, so jealous.
And then at the end of the month, my plans were ruined because my plan was to go back to Chicago to watch the Cubs in the World Series, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. So I might be going to a Halloween ball that's taking place here in LA.
Nice.
We have one shout out to give. I did a video on my channel earlier in the month called 5 Creepy Japanese Death Poems, and I did 5 Japanese death poems based on some of my favorite horror anime. And I said that whoever could guess what the 5 anime were would win a shout out. And a user named JBunny26 was able to guess them all. They were Shiki, Death Note, Another, Mirai Nikki, aka Future Diary, and Tokyo Ghoul. So I left a link to the channel in the description. So our main story that we're going to talk about on this episode is why we have Blood here on the show. She ran into a problem with YouTube. If you guys aren't familiar with her channel, she discusses social commentary and analyzes trends in horror movies here on YouTube. And she got her channel removed for no good reason after getting demonetized.
Shame YouTube.
So we've actually got her sub count up here on the screen, and she's been out of commission for a while and just got her channel back. So if you guys could show some support, we'd love to see that number go up throughout the stream. So Blood, why don't you walk us through that situation from the beginning?
What happened, it's funny, Carrie's here, is I had seen a comment from her asking me to start listing the movies I talk about each stream. So I was actually starting to go through descriptions to do that, and all of a sudden my puppet horror episode has a flag on it, which I've never seen before. I had 0 strikes before this, because for those that don't know the back end of this, there is such a thing as a community guideline strike and a copyright strike. So all of my stuff was completely on community guidelines grounds. They flagged that. I load up my backup to check because I didn't think I did anything inappropriate. And then by about halfway through that video, it was about an 8-minute video, I get another strike on music and horror, which I know for the record, like I had Critical Android on with me and I don't even think we swore in it. So I knew that was 100% clean. And so I'm going and trying to try and file appeals for all of these to get them back on. And then all of a sudden, a third video gets pulled, and the YouTube rule is 3 strikes, 3 months, you're gone. So then it was a massive Twitter campaign to get me back.
So you were actually online when this all happened. You were watching this unfold in front of your eyes.
Yep, I went from 0 strikes to 3 strikes, terminated in like about 9 minutes.
That must have been horrifying.
Well,
oh yeah, I was
still horrifying.
I was more or less live tweeting it because I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I'm just like, no, I'm clearly being pranked, or there's a troll or something. And they, when you submit for an appeal to get your channel back, they're supposed to have a human being review it, because all they ever gave me was community guideline strike, nothing beyond on what I violated. When they re-reviewed my channel, they're just like, oh no, we're keeping you suspended. So that's when we started pushing again, because
so this is the point where they claimed that somebody at YouTube had looked at your video and decided that it wasn't okay.
Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, it also is a possibility that they can put you back and be like, okay, but these things need to be 18 plus. And there's a handful of videos that skirt the line that I think I could see them wanting that, which is fine. I would have lost those videos to get my channel back. Wouldn't have been a problem. And it was just, we were so beaten down at that point. When I found out I was reinstated, it was actually me trying to set up another channel. Like, I was in the process of doing that when I found out I had come back. And it was just an email saying, all right, we re-reviewed you, you're good. And I had to push to somebody else in the community to get any kind of answer. And they're just like, it was a bot, our bad, you're back.
That's crazy.
Typical.
So do you think that you getting demonetized on that one video has something to do with you getting the strike?
I would say I got demonetized probably about 95% of my channel to 98% of my channel got demonetized a couple of days before this happened. So something on the bot flagged me, and without knowing if it was tags, thumbnail, descriptions, title, any of that. And I know when Rain and I were talking back and forth, I brought up the idea of renaming, and she's like, yeah, we can't roll that out. So that's why I'm becoming After Dark Analysis.
So for those of you who are watching the stream on demand later, right now the channel is called Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary, but you said on Tuesday you're going to be changing it?
Yeah, Tuesday I'm putting out a new trailer and the channel art's going to change. And I'm slowly going back through all my content to add new intros to reflect the change.
So it's really unfortunate that you have to like change your whole identity on YouTube because of really something that's out of your control.
Yeah, it's a CYA maneuver, but it's a lot better than building from the ground up again.
Yeah. So are you going to have a backup plan going forward?
I was already looking into other mediums. I was completely, funny thing is I announced that like the day before all this happened, that I was looking into other platforms.
That sounds like a conspiracy theory. They hear you talking about other platforms and they decide to punish you for it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I had done a live stream that day before where I had kind of made fun of YouTube a little, so.
Oh.
Everybody's convinced they're out to get me.
Very suspect.
Yeah.
So that video, the one that they told you was like the one that resulted in your channel getting taken down, that was like one of the more innocent videos that you've done, right? That was the clowns and gremlins one?
Yeah, that was the things that scared us in childhood #2, and that was us talking about childhood fears.
All right, so something just happened in the chat. Some random guy, literally that's his name, some random guy posted a chat that says, please sub to Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary, and it got held by review by YouTube's bot.
Yeah. I had just seen that too, and was like, huh.
So which part of the name do you think it is, Blood or Guts?
I'm going to go with Guts.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe both.
Yeah, probably both.
The weird thing is I have a video on my channel currently, the tragedy behind the Twilight Zone movie, which is one of the few instances where I talk about real death. And that one stayed monetized and everything like that until I think 2-3 days ago. And I found 2 other creators that were saying we think tragedy is now getting flagged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually on their one of their policies. They say we can't let anyone enable monetization on any form of tragedy. That's why the whole Casey Neistat thing happened, where his video donating to, the survivors of the shooting in Texas, it couldn't be monetized at all, and he complained. He said, no, that's our policy. And then when what's his name,
Jimmy Fallon,
yeah, well, but Philip DeFranco, when he did a tweet and compared the two and showed an advert, it turned out that the advert on Jimmy Fallon's was because they just wanted the advert on Jimmy Fallon's regardless of what was on it.
Right.
But yeah, they really don't like tragedy.
That was one of the things that was mentioned. There was actually an article written on the website Geek Reply about Blood's situation on YouTube, and it's a pretty good article. There's a lot of misinformation that kind of swirls around about YouTube's processes and kind of what went on. But Geek Reply wrote a pretty good article, and that was one of the things they mentioned was the whole Casey Neistat controversy. And if you guys want to check out Casey Neistat's video too, he did a follow-up video called Demonetization, where he just kind of discusses that whole situation, and that's also a pretty good video. But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's actually the Las Vegas incident that was in question. But we won't fault Mort for not knowing American geography, because I would never be able to know anything about England other than London is one of the cities. So what are some of the other tactics that you're going to have going forward to try to protect your channel?
I mean, that's the thing. I'm changing my title. Unfortunately, I don't really want to change up the title of my videos because while I'm dealing with fiction, I still don't like the idea of somebody being able to click on my video or see it and not know what it's going to be.
Right.
So the demonetization thing I can deal with because I never made a dime anyway. So that's not really a big difference to me. It's just the removal scare is a little much.
Well, it really seems like YouTube's contradicting themselves because they say that they don't want to have these controversial keywords in the title or the tags or anything. So they're asking people to change all that so that it's more advertiser friendly. But then they also say that you're technically spamming on YouTube if you don't if the metadata to the video doesn't accurately represent the content of the video. And then, of course, if you want the video to get discovered and get seen and picked up by YouTube systems, then you have to play by their rules and you have to advertise the video as per the content.
Oh yeah, I've been getting a lot of that double speak. I just had somebody tell me on Twitter that it sounds like the recommended thing that keeps coming up for me is my vomit gore video, which is one of my top performing videos. You don't see a single thing, but the title is very provocative. And when I use TubeBuddy to tag things, number one tag they always recommend for me is torture porn, because again, top performing video for me.
And just to be clear, like, most of her videos are not like horribly gory stuff, despite the channel logo. Most of it's just like thoughtful analysis on horror movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try and keep violence to a minimum, and I only use still images to just be careful about copyright, because I know they've done that to a bunch of people.
How did you get in touch with YouTube when you got the channel taken down?
I got in touch with them via email, and when that kept failing, that's when I started tagging them on Twitter, and that's when everybody kind of found out and started barraging them. I didn't encourage people to do that. It was nice that they did, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole community kind of banded together in that tweet and was tagging at YouTube, at Team YouTube, trying to get their attention and see that they had messed up.
Yeah, and I have a creator right now who had his video removed and isn't sure why. And I'm trying to help him through now because the movie Loon was taken off of YouTube, and he's like, "That's my movie. I made it. I released it."
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're giving him community guidelines again.
Wow. Yeah, I think in some way it's kind of not cool or good that people are going through this, but we're getting experience on how to fix it. And if my channel were suddenly get taken down, I would not know what to do. So I'd probably turn to you or somebody who's had this problem before and be like, what do I do? And we're getting training for how to fix things.
Yeah, I mean, it is good to see the whole community banding together like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just disappointing that YouTube blacklists everything in the horror community, and then they have to go and review everything, and I'm sure 99.999% of the time everything is absolutely fine. So they're just wasting so much time, energy, and money on something which really shouldn't happen. If they think strategic business, they should think, well, the horror community is fine, and if something bad is really that bad, someone's going to flag it. So let's just leave it like that. That's how I think it should be handled anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading today, they had a blog post, and they were talking about how they were like proud of their system, that it took down these videos before it received a single human flag. And I was just thinking, I know how bad their bot is. I know like how many videos have been demonetized unjustly, and I don't think that's something that they should be proud of, because I'm sure a lot of those videos were not even in the wrong.
Exactly. It's a bit like, yeah, our bot is fantastic. We love it. And it's like, yeah, it flagged all these 10 videos that were really poorly. But we're not going to tell you about the 400 million videos it flagged incorrectly and that has severely affected us in many ways, and all the other people, the independent creators. But you don't need to know about that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully they can get that figured out, and hopefully this doesn't happen again to anyone in the horror community, or just anybody who doesn't deserve to get their channel taken down. A lot of people put tons of hard work into it, and it's sad to see that happening. But go ahead and give some support to Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary. Again, her link is down in the description. And also happy birthday to you, Blood. I think your birthday is tomorrow, right?
My channel's birthday is tomorrow.
Your channel's birthday?
Hey, happy almost birthday.
Yeah, this all happened right in October and right around my 1-year anniversary. So that was just insult to injury on that.
Yeah. So our next topic is Devin7, a small narrator here in the community, got into a major car wreck, and luckily he seems to be okay. He posted a tweet with some of the photos, but it seems like he has since deleted it. So that was leading me to ask, do you guys have any car crash horror stories that you want to share?
I do, actually. I have a car crash horror story. My family and I were driving through Italy, just finishing our holiday, and there's a chain of cars, and one car smashes into another, which smashes into another. It's 5 cars in this huge chain crash, and our car is the one at the end, so we didn't crash into anyone else, thankfully. And when we got out of the car, to see the damage, the first car, the first car that hit every other car was absolutely totaled, and there was blood all over the inside of the shattered windscreen, and it was pretty clear that guy was either, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I think we were there for about 2 hours, and the firemen came and they had to get I don't even know, like these pincer things to try and tear apart the car to get the guy out. It was just...
That's crazy.
It was horrifying. It's horrifying.
So you said you were in Italy. Was this your car or a rental car?
My parents' rental car, so yeah, all fun.
So does the insurance cover that, or do you get in trouble for that?
Oh yeah. You have to get insurance on the car, and you can't rent it without it. I think we just lost the deposit, but what can you do? It doesn't really matter. At least we weren't dead.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so you said the guy that died was the original one who started the crash?
Yeah, he was going way too fast down the highway, and he ended up smashing into someone else. And because the distance, they weren't far enough apart from the other cars, one just hit another, and then they hit another and hit another. No one had enough time to react, which is why it was all 5 cars in a sort of domino mega crash. The other 4 cars, should I say, were mostly okay. One guy was driving his boss's brand new car to his home.
Oh, no.
I don't know how that turned out, but I would not want to be that guy. Here's your car. Sorry, it kind of got destroyed on the way here, but here's what's left.
You can't write it any better than that. So how long ago was that?
Oh, it must have been about 10 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah. Never did find out what happened to the guy, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't good.
Yeah. Do either of you ladies have any car crash horror stories to share?
Nothing quite as devastating as that. I've never been in one, but I was able to witness a pretty horrifying crash, which, seeing it from a different point of view, is quite interesting. I was hanging out at a stoplight, and right in front of me, there was a sedan sitting in the intersection waiting to turn left, and a truck came out of nowhere and hit it head on, going like, I don't know, 70 miles an hour or something. And it crushed this poor little car like a tin can, like from front to back. The thing was destroyed. Wow. And just seeing, it kind of felt like it was in slow motion, seeing it like that. And we got out of there before it became a huge issue to drive out of there. But I was like, I just want to pull over and get out of my car right now because I'm horrified that that's going to happen to me. Like, you don't want to drive after seeing something like that.
Mm-hmm. So when you say truck, are you talking about like a big like semi-trailer type of thing, or are you talking about like an SUV, like a truck car?
It was like like one of those big Ford trucks.
Okay.
So like the truck was fine. The front bumper of it, I think, was ruined, but this sedan just didn't stand a chance. And yeah.
Blood, do you have any stories?
It's not so horrifying, it's more just embarrassing. I was learning to drive, and my mother decided to screech from the side passenger seat for me to turn. So I assumed because she was saying that I could make the turn into our development. I ended up going over an embankment, taking out a stop sign, and yeah. They kind of had to tow me out of there. Everybody was fine. The car really wasn't damaged. It was just nobody quite figured out how I got over the embankment without totally just ripping apart the axles.
How long did you get grounded for?
I didn't really leave the house anyway, so there wasn't really much point in grounding me.
That's good. So, like, what happened with the stop sign? Did you guys have to pay for it, or what happened with that?
Oddly enough, no. It seemed like everybody kind of saw it was an accident, and since I was not only on my learners, but I wasn't clearly drinking or anything like that, it seemed like all of it was covered. The funny thing is, it was in somebody's lawn, so I kept knocking on their door trying to wake them up, and it wasn't until like an hour or so later they're just like, "Oh, somebody crashed on our front lawn." It's like, how freaking dead asleep do you need to be to sleep through a car accident on your front lawn?
I don't have any car crash horror stories. I've never personally been in a car crash, but I have one kind of funny story. So it happened in high school. I played baseball, and we had this game, and there's this guy who was supposed to be giving me a ride home from the game afterwards. And so he had this Jeep, and he said that when we got in the Jeep, he told me that he was like really bad at backing out of spaces, which I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me, because to me you just kind of go straight back. But so he starts kind of like curving out of the space, and he asks like, "Do I have room?" And I was like, "I'm not really sure." And then he goes back and hits this car that's parked next to him on the right, and it doesn't damage the car or anything. It just kind of starts shaking around, and he's like, "Oh crap! What do I do?" And like I looked at the car, and it didn't look like there was any damage to it, and I just told him to go. Like, I don't think anybody noticed it. Just get out of here. So of course, he just floors it and draws a ton of attention, and everybody turns their heads. Well, it turns out that like one of the kids on the team, their parents were a cop, or their parents were a police officer, and that was their car.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So luckily they were able to sort it out, and I don't think he got in too much trouble for it, but kind of a funny story. So let's talk about the Master DK Duchess Dark dispute. So this is probably one of my favorite stories of the month, because it was instigated by me. So it all starts with Duchess Dark getting called out in a tweet by Master DK, and he says, "I got dislike bot." He's quoting her. He says, "I got dislike botted. Thanks for the views." And then he says, I'm not sure why he says, "I looked it up in the dictionary. There's no words on how pathetic that was." I'm gonna put the video that Duchess Dark got dislike botted on. So it's got 7,000 views and over 900 dislikes in a very short span of time. So clearly, it's the work of dislike bots. So I was wondering why he posted this screenshot criticizing her and calling her pathetic without adding her in the tweet, without tagging her. So I said in my response, if you're going to call someone out, don't be a pussy about it. Why don't you @Duchess Dark? Hashtag stir the pot. And he said like, "Oh, I didn't really see the point in tagging her." And so lo and behold,
really?
Duchess Dark appears on the scene and says like, "What's pathetic is you going out of your way to be a dick towards me." So they got into this huge heated discussion, and Master DK posted another tweet about an hour later saying, "I had a nice little chat with Duchess Dark about my thoughts on her dislike bot rant. Here's our end result." And he posted a picture of Duchess Dark has blocked Master DK.
Oh, what a fool.
So my question for you guys is, like, obviously I was just trolling and I wanted to see what happened, but should I have called out Duchess Dark, or should I have just let it go?
Nah,
You
I
did the
mean,
right
if somebody was talking shit about me, I would want to know about it, and I just think that's fair.
My logic is...
I
go ahead.
agree.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just saying I agree with Rabbit. If someone were to do that, I expect my friends to, put me in there, put me in the loop so I can defend my work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My logic was that, like, I don't want to start conflict in the horror community, because like we were saying earlier with Blood's situation, it's awesome when we're able to band together and accomplish something like that. But like you guys were saying, if someone's getting criticized behind their back, then I also don't think that's quite right either.
Right.
No.
to be fair, he did go on to say that he doesn't think that she's a bad narrator, and I don't think they were quite on the same page, because I don't think he was suggesting that all of the dislikes were real, but he was probably suggesting that a majority of them were, or some of them were, and she took it the wrong way and said, like, oh, well, obviously it's been dislike botted, but it seems that they were not able to figure that dispute out.
Yeah, I find it kind of unnecessary that he even said anything, you know? It's like we're all
Exactly.
in the same community doing the same thing. Why put somebody down?
Yeah.
Well, they kind of said it earlier.
Is he just a viewer, or is he a creator?
He is a creator. I think he's kind of fallen off the map as of late and started doing like some other types of content. He also had a comment about how like he thinks that narrators' egos are too big and he can't wait for the genre to dry up. But like
wow, why?
Yeah.
It's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like he is still doing some narrations from time to time, but that's not all of his content anymore.
Mm.
Well, if he's not doing it anymore, then what's his problem with us?
Right. I mean, to be
Exactly.
honest, he might be a little bit jealous that Duchess Dark is doing a little bit better than him.
Oh, yeah.
And that stuff is just reinforcing to the community that it's like I said earlier, it's not a zero-sum game. We can all have the same subscribers. It's not like, well, if you get a sub, I don't get a sub.
Yeah.
So that there's never been a point in fighting. Obviously, you're going to meet people that rub you the wrong way, but why start unnecessary drama within the community when we have enough drama from YouTube?
Yeah, I was just going to
no
say,
kidding.
like, it's frustrating to see them fighting about something small like that when we have major issues in the community that we should be talking
Sure.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We
all
should be here
very
to help each
unnecessary
other.
and petty.
Anyways, it seems that our time has come, but don't worry because we're going to be doing new Dead streams every month. The next stream will be November 25th at 2 p.m. Pacific, that's 5 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. GMT.
The best place to catch us is live on the CZsWorld channel, but if you missed it, we're also on demand on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play.
If you have a story you'd like us to read here on the show, or if you find any news about going on around the YouTube horror community that we might be able to talk about, send an email to czsworld@gmail.com.
The music in the Deadstream is composed by OST Maker. Visit his link in the description and go ahead and subscribe to OST Maker's channel for some more great tunes.
Rabbit, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter, just searching Lady White Rabbit, and now also on SoundCloud.
And Mort, where can they find your links?
You can go on Instagram or Twitter. Pretty good places at the Mortis Media, if easy enough.
And Blood, now that you are back online, where can our fans go to check out your channel?
All my social medias linked in the About page on my channel, but I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all under Blood Guts SC, all one word.
And are you going to be changing that after Tuesday? Where can
I
people
don't
expect
know
to
if I
find you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can change handles like that, but yeah, everything will be after Dark Analysis as of Tuesday.
And you'll be able to find the links on her YouTube if you're having trouble finding it. You can find me on Facebook, Google+, and Instagram as CZsWorld. My Twitter handle is CZsWorld_horror. Remember to subscribe to CZsWorld for new horrors every week. Ring that death bell for notifications, and we'll see you in the next one, assuming we both survive.